I've intended these videos to be open-ended so that we can watch them at any time during our lives. I've not wanted to make them time-specific so that they can support us throughout whatever landscape we happen to be walking through. But today, I want to make a time-specific video that specifically addresses this landscape that we're in this COVID-19 pandemic. Specifically, I'm saying specific a lot, I wanted to really address the shelter-in-place order, the social distancing, and the isolating that is being recommended not only throughout the United States, but also across the world in an attempt to slow the growth of and the progression of this very dangerous pandemic. The reason that I wanted to address this is because each of these words and the meanings behind them, they have a deeply soulful impact on us and our relationships, whether we realize it or not. Those of us who are able to socially distance or to isolate are able to experience that because of privilege that we happen to be in. There are a lot of people throughout the world who are not able to either socially distance themselves from another person or isolate themselves from someone who is ill. There are many, many millions of people across the world who simply don't have access to space or time or any resources that allows that to happen. So we're walking this fine edge, this balance beam, where in order to experience that physical distance and that social isolation, there is a privilege inherent with that. Or on the flip side, there is a harsh, painful, sorrowful reality of illness and possible death. That's a bitter, bitter coin that has those two sides on it. So there's the privilege of being able to isolate, physically distance ourselves so that we can protect ourselves and also protect other people. But then there's also that, for lack of a better term, that comparison between what we're experiencing in this physical distancing, this social isolation, this shelter in place, all of these emotions and the fear and the anxiety that comes up with that, the loneliness, the ache, the longing for contact with another person, but the fear that comes with contact with another person. And the comparison between all of that we're feeling and something from our past that may have nothing to do with a pandemic. But the similarity of that fear, that anxiety, perhaps that loneliness or that longing, all comes crashing down on us like a tidal wave. And then it can be easy to not know the difference between the fear and anxiety that we're experiencing now in this pandemic, in this 2020 time, and the pain that we experienced then. That's a challenge. And it's okay that it's a challenge. This stuff is not easy. None of us have been here before. We are, in some ways, we're kind of making it up as we go. Because whatever direction we may be receiving from our leaders, we still have to process it. We still have to figure out how we isolate physically from other people while still remaining connected, while still reaching out to the person who's sitting across the table from us. How do we ask that person sitting across the table or on the other side of the phone, how do we ask them, how are you? So in this video, which is very time specific, although God knows it could be very relatable for the next few months, I really wanted to reach out to you and to let you know that if you're confused, that makes sense. If you feel anxious, that's understandable. If you feel fear, well, that kind of makes sense. This is a scary time. And each of us has the opportunity to have that chance. Hopefully, each of us has the opportunity to have that chance of identifying, okay, this anxiety that I'm feeling right now, it is because I'm anxious for the people that I love in my life right now. And to distinguish between that and this anxiety reminds me so much of when I was a kid living in an abusive household. Or this reminds me of when I was in a toxic relationship and I couldn't find a way to get out. You see, we are a compilation of all of our experiences. We are nuanced, magnificent. Oh, we have the capacity to be so noble. And I believe in that nobility. So I think I'll bring this time specific video to a close. Thank you for being with me today. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. How are you? In the midst of all these winds, how you doing? I'm Catherine Gabriel-Jones. I'm an encouragement coach. And no matter what time it is, I do believe in you.